You can go do it again somewhere else. But you still get to participate in the future of cash flow for that specific property. And one day when the property sells, you still get the upside. But by that point, you've already got all your money back from it and you've gone and done it again somewhere else. That's the hamster wheel that ends up benefiting people really well if they take action and start earlier. Is you do that over and over again, and next thing you know, you're a part of 5, 10 passive investments. And how cool is it to check your inbox and see you got paid by 10 different operators today? Make money while you sleep.
Oh yeah, we call that mailbox money.
Yeah.
So what, like, so if you had to put a definition on it, what is private lending and why should people consider it right now?
It's a good alternative to not have your money tied up as long. So if you're not a real estate investor, think of so there's money market accounts that are out there. That's not really private lending, but that pays 4%. And then there's a lot of people that aren't in real estate also are familiar with a CD. That's just, you get a percentage return and it's generally 6 months, a year, whatever your term is. That's what private lending is. You're giving money to a property or an operation or something where there is a need for financing, and in return you're getting a fixed percentage return along the way. So I've seen them at 6%, 8%, 10%. Some of them in the industry are at 15%, and people just need to know the higher you go, the more risk you're taking on. So I mentioned risk tolerance earlier and mine being low. A lot of the stuff I look for isn't the highest return out there. It's because I care more about safety and less about the return. And so it has to fit your appetite with what you're good with, but it's generally lending on something. So for example, we have a fund where it lends to borrowers that are buying property and to do a fix and flip. So we act like the bank. Investors are putting their money in and they get a fixed return, 8, 9, or 10%. We then take that money and lend it out to borrowers at a higher rate. And those borrowers are then buying property, flipping the property, and selling the property. Now for us as the bank, we act like the bank in this scenario. And this happens over about 400 or more homes at once. So it's not like your risk is reduced because it's not going into like the house next door. So then it doesn't matter if the flipper makes 10 grand or loses a couple thousand or makes 100 grand on their flip. You're the bank. So yours is just like this. Just like how people pay their mortgage or their rent today, like the number stays the same. And so that's been a cool strategy that I like doing. And that's more of a short-term thing. I'm seeing people like it better the older they are. I'm seeing people that are younger like to get into equity and have ownership because they have more time on the horizon. But if you're 65 and you're just retiring, or you just, you rolled over your 401k, those are the people that are like, I've accumulated all this money over my lifespan. I have $1 million and now I want to make 100K a year in passive income. That's when you go private lending and you just say, okay, we've got a platform for that. You're going to make 10%. You're going to get paid every single month and you'll make 100 grand. And that's not variable. So it just depends on people's circumstance and what they're looking for. And then hopefully, we try to see if we have something that fits. And if we don't, we say, doesn't work, go find another place.
Oh yeah. I'm just like you. I'm risk averse, but I'm risky. Like it's hard to explain. And when I say I'm risky, meaning I do a lot of things that most people wouldn't do. Entrepreneurship is one of the biggest risks that most people don't do. But I still look at things in a hierarchy of, all right, what's most important to me? A lot of people put that rate of return as number one. But just like you said, sometimes you got to consider the liquidity. You got to consider the safety. You got to consider the rate of return. And you have to consider the tax treatment of how that goes.